It began like any other Wednesday morning, quiet, warm, and completely ordinary. Birds chirped from the maple tree in front of my suburban house. And my golden retriever, Max, lounged lazily on the porch. I had just finished mowing the lawn when my phone buzzed with an email from the HOA. The subject line made my stomach drop. Violation notice, lawn boundary infraction. Apparently, according to a concerned neighbor, my grass extended 4 inches beyond regulation length onto common property. I almost laughed. 4 inches? That was barely the width of a ruler. But the letter wasn't a joke. It included photos, blurry, zoomed-in images of my lawn from the sidewalk. The complaint had come from Karen, the self-appointed enforcer of all HOA rules. Everyone in the neighborhood knew Karen. She lived 3 houses down and had a reputation for micromanaging everyone's property. Trash bins left out too long. Karen sent a notice. Christmas lights up past January. She took pictures. Her favorite pastime was wielding her clipboard like a sword of justice. Still, I decided to be civil. I trimmed the edge again, measured carefully, and sent the HOA a polite email saying the issue had been resolved. 2 days later, I found another notice, this time accusing me of potential noncompliance and demanding proof. I could practically hear Karen's smug tone through the message. That's when I decided to fight back, but not with confrontation. Instead, I ordered a trail camera, the kind hunters use to catch deer at night. I placed it near the bushes facing the side lawn, just in case. A week passed. Nothing unusual happened, until early one morning. Around 6:30 a.m. Max started barking furiously. I looked out the window but saw only the gentle fog over the grass. Later that day, curiosity got the better of me. I checked the camera footage. There she was. Karen, wearing a floral robe, clutching a measuring tape, and pacing across my lawn like a detective solving a crime. She crouched, measured the border, and scribbled notes on her clipboard. At one point, she bent down so close to the ground her glasses nearly fell off. My jaw dropped. Not only had she trespassed, she'd done it at sunrise, completely unaware of the camera. That night, as I replayed the clip again, I couldn't help but grin. I knew exactly what I was going to do next. The HOA wanted proof. Oh, they were about to get more proof than they'd ever asked for. The next morning, I downloaded the footage and trimmed it into a 30-second clip. It was gold, Karen creeping around, tape measure in hand, caught red-handed. I debated sending it directly to the HOA but decided to take a different route first. I uploaded it to a neighborhood Facebook group with a simple caption. Anyone know why someone's measuring my grass at 6:30 a.m.? Within an hour, the comments exploded. Neighbors recognized her instantly. Oh my God, that's Karen. She did the same thing to me about my mailbox height. Looks like she's doing early morning inspections again. The post gained over 200 reactions by noon. Screenshots spread through the entire subdivision. By that evening, someone had even added background music, a sneaky spy theme, and re-uploaded it to TikTok. The clip got tens of thousands of views overnight. While the internet laughed, Karen was livid. I saw her marching up and down the street, ranting on her phone. She even stopped by my house later that day, pounding on my door. I didn't answer. Instead, I watched through the peephole as she stood there fuming, muttering about defamation and privacy. By the next HOA meeting, the situation had escalated. The board president, Mr. Lewis, looked exhausted as he called the session to order. Karen sat at the end of the table, her arms crossed like a general at war. I'd like to address the unauthorized surveillance happening in this community, she began, glaring at me. Mr. Lewis sighed. Karen, from what I understand, you were on private property without permission. Her face turned beet red. I was conducting a compliance check, she protested. You're not an HOA officer, he reminded her. You don't have that authority. The room murmured with agreement. One neighbor even whispered, finally, someone said it. When my turn came, I calmly explained the situation. I didn't set out to embarrass anyone, I said. But I think we can all agree, measuring lawns at dawn isn't appropriate behavior. There was a smattering of applause. Karen stormed out halfway through the discussion. That night, the HOA voted to implement a rule forbidding members from entering another person's property without permission. Karen lost her compliance volunteer title effective immediately. But the story didn't end there. The video kept spreading online, getting picked up by local news stations. Headlines read: HOA neighbor caught measuring lawn in viral video. What started as a petty complaint had turned into an internet sensation, and Karen wasn't done yet. After the HOA stripped Karen of her authority, I thought peace would return to the neighborhood. For a few blissful days, it did. No notes taped to mailboxes. No mysterious photos sent to the HOA. Just quiet. But Karen wasn't the type to let things go. I first noticed strange little incidents: a knocked-over trash can, missing mail, footprints on my front flower bed. Small things, but deliberate. Max would bark late at night, facing the same direction each time, the side gate. I decided to check the trail camera again. Sure enough, there she was. Karen, this time wearing all black like she thought she was in a spy movie. Creeping around with a flashlight. She didn't step onto the lawn this time. But she peered over the fence, whispering something to herself before vanishing. That footage, I didn't post online. I was done with the circus. But I did print a screenshot and send it to the HOA with a note. Seems the lawn inspector's back at it. Maybe we need better boundaries, literally. Mr. Lewis called me the next morning, half laughing, half horrified. "You've got to be kidding me," he said. "I'll handle it." Later that day, Karen's husband, Greg, came to my door. He looked embarrassed. "I'm so sorry about all this," he said quietly. "Karen's been under stress. She's obsessed with those HOA rules." I could tell he was sincere. I told him I didn't want to escalate things further, just to be left alone. He nodded, promising to talk to her. But that night, things took another turn. My camera caught movement again, this time. Not Karen. It was a man in a hoodie, spray painting something on my driveway. I ran outside, but he was gone. Under the porch light, I read the red letters, "Snitch." The next day, I went to the police with the footage. They couldn't prove who it was, but the officer warned me to stay cautious. He suggested I install another camera by the front door. Word spread fast. The neighborhood that once laughed at Karen now avoided her entirely. Her reputation was in ruins, but she didn't show remorse, only bitterness. I caught glimpses of her peeking through her blinds, scribbling furiously in a notebook. It was clear she was planning something. And as much as I wanted to ignore her, I had a sinking feeling the drama wasn't over yet. A week later, I woke up to the sound of police sirens outside my house. My heart raced as I ran to the window. 2 squad cars were parked in front of Karen's driveway. Officers stood talking to her husband while Karen shouted from the porch, waving papers in the air. I stepped outside cautiously. "Everything okay?" I asked one of the officers. He glanced at me. "You the homeowner with the cameras?" I nodded. "We received a call from this lady," he said, gesturing toward Karen, "claiming you've been spying on her property illegally." I almost laughed. "You mean the same cameras that caught her trespassing?" He sighed. "That's what we figured. Mind if we take a look?" I showed them the footage, time-stamped, clearly showing that my cameras were pointed at my property, not hers. When they reviewed the earlier clips, one officer muttered, "She really came onto your lawn just to measure it." Karen tried to argue, but her voice cracked under pressure. "He's harassing me. Posting videos online." The officer handed her a paper. "Ma'am, we've reviewed the situation. You were the one trespassing. You need to stop contacting this homeowner or you could face charges." For once, Karen was speechless. Her face turned pale. After the officers left, Greg came over again, visibly exhausted. She's going to therapy, he said quietly. She lost her volunteer role, and people won't talk to her anymore. Maybe this will be good for her. I nodded, genuinely hoping he was right. I wasn't looking for revenge, just peace. A month passed. The grass grew evenly, my mailbox stayed untouched. And for the first time in years, the neighborhood felt normal again. I even got a handwritten note from the HOA, thanking me for helping restore community trust. Then, one afternoon, a small package appeared on my porch. No return address, just my name in neat cursive. Inside was a measuring tape. On the handle, a note. For the record, your lawn is perfect. K. I stood there for a long moment, half smiling, half unsure whether to laugh or worry. Karen never bothered me again after that. She stopped attending HOA meetings, sold her house 6 months later, and moved out quietly. Every now and then, when I mow the grass, I glance at the camera still tucked behind the bushes. The little red light blinks, just in case. Because in this neighborhood, peace is precious. And you never know when another Karen might come measuring.